Are you a business owner looking to secure your financial future and create a lasting legacy? I'm Leah Garcia, a financial strategist and insurance professional, and I specialize in guiding businesses with up to 50 employees on how to effectively protect and transfer their wealth. We break down silos with my unique approach, the wall of wealth. Imagine a seamless collaboration among your CPA, tax attorney, estate planner, and insurance expert, each playing their part in perfect harmony, ensuring your financial strategy is not just effective, but a true masterpiece. My passion stems from my own journey, from growing up on food stamps to dreaming of building community centers that empower others. Together, we'll craft a roadmap that not only safeguards your assets, but also nurtures generational wealth for your loved ones. Let's transform your vision into reality. After all, you can't measure the heart of a champion just by looking at them. Join me, and let's make your financial future shine.
And welcome on in, everybody, to Hello Plaza. It is so great to be with you guys here today. We are here on Financial Friday, Freedom Fridays. This is a new day of coming to you guys with Miss Leah Garcia. We're going to have a little fireside chat today. But before we jump into that, before we introduce Miss Leah and what we're up to today, we would like to just welcome everybody on in. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you being here. Image there that takes you right into the Hello Plaza. Sorry about that, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I had to clear my throat there. So with that said, we're going to get this party started. So great to be here. We have Miss Leah Garcia here, who is an amazing financial extraordinaire, not only within the financial and in the insurance side of things. She is an amazing human being that is out here making change. And she is bringing change to people by helping them understand financial literacy in order to not just take care of themselves, but to really help generations down the line from them. And she has an amazing tree method that she, has referred to. And it's not just taking care of what your tree is going to do, but really helping the entire family tree that you have and really creating a generational wave of positive and knowledge that helps down many generations. And so with that said, Miss Leah, I want to welcome you on in here to this amazing fireside chat. We have a beautiful conversation going on about your last love letter. And so first of all, please share with everybody who you are, what you're up to before we dive in.
Well, thank you, Miss Tara, for that amazing introduction. It's great to be here in the metaverse. I love this beautiful space you two have created. And yes, my name is Leah Garcia, financial strategist and insurance professional. And it is really my crusade to help entrepreneurs, business owners, and I want to help them protect, distribute, and transfer their wealth so they can build a legacy and create generational and multi-generational wealth. We've already had generational poverty. Now it's time to flip the script and create generational wealth. And I believe that every single person, no matter where they're starting, no matter how much money that they have right now or how much money they don't have, we can all go from zero to hero and change our family's last name forever.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so, with that being said, when you talk about the last love letter and, how you lead this for your family, which is the most important, so we can dig into this a little bit more because I so agree with you. And about 52% of people do not leave a living, legacy for their loved ones. And this is the most important love letter, even though we have Valentine's Day the flowers and the candy and the vacation, that's all good and well, but this love letter lasts forever. So, why do you refer as the life insurance as the last love letter that you leave for your loved ones?
That is such a great question. I've been in this industry now 20 years, and unfortunately, I've had clients who have unfortunately passed away. And until you really deliver a death claim, I think that many people will kind of think of life insurance in one way. But when you actually have an opportunity to deliver this life insurance policy when someone passes away, I really saw the impact directly of how it was that last love letter. One of the families that had passed away, the father had passed away. He was this big, burly football playing kind of guy, big stud in business. And he was a provider for the family, worked hard to take care of it. He was a real estate agent, very successful. And then, we're all healthy until the day that we're not. And unfortunately, he received a diagnosis, and it was a terminal diagnosis. And when he passed away, his family didn't have to change their lifestyle. The two daughters were in college. They got to continue their college education. The wife was more of a supportive spouse, but she was able to take some time and not have to worry about putting food on the table, not worry about having to pay the mortgage, not worried about having to household in their lifestyle. And she was able to take some time to heal and to really mourn and grieve the loss of her husband, and then have some time to kind of reinvent herself and take on another career so that she could support herself. And that to me is truly what life insurance is about. It was a love letter to that family. And her and I knew this family many years before the father passed away. But her and I sat in her living room, and she's like, man, Leah, thank you so much. I appreciate what you did, because truly, I don't know where we would be right now if we had not put the life insurance on Chris, if he hadn't went forward and protected his life for us. We would be devastated right now financially, not only devastated emotionally, but devastated. I'd have to pull the girls out of college. We'd have to move. We'd have to sell the house. And so she was just so grateful. So that's why I do refer to it as a last love letter that you can leave for your loved ones.
Absolutely. And when you put it in that terminology, that helps solidify it and story. It made me think of, a couple of other stories I know. One personally, in my family, when my dad received a terminal diagnosis and then is no longer here with us, when my mom, shortly before that terminal diagnosis came down the pipeline, was looking for insurance, and she said, we should have started. Luckily, she took care of herself, but my father, he was with the Teamsters, and they didn't realize there were some things that askew there. And so they kind of had a gap in coverage, I guess you would say. And when my mom realized that, to get him recovered, she says, we would be better off just putting the I think it was like $2,000 a month for coverage into just a savings account, and having some sort of yield on that. And then it also reminds me of my ex-boss mentor. His mother passed away, and luckily they did have great, he had a great last love letter to his wife. And it really was needed, because she had to lean on that love letter that he left for her, because of his ability to kind of take care of everything. So when you share this story, there's a lot of people that resonate with it, and there's just, in this conversation, 3 people. And so as we dive a little deeper, can you share with us what types of life insurances are there even available that would be something to consider to leave as a lasting love letter to your loved one?
Yeah, that's a great question because there's so much information out there. We're kind of in this information overwhelm sometimes, and people make a they kind of make this a bigger decision than it really is. And what I mean by that is what is fitting in your budget is the best life insurance to have. So the types are you can have term, which is temporary life insurance, but by far the most affordable. It also can include some living benefits in there. And then there's permanent life insurance. And there's a lot of different ways to have permanent life insurance, cash value life insurance. And then there's also something that a lot of people aren't aware of. It's called final expense. Final expense policies are more forgiving on your health because life insurance, the rates are based on your age and your health. So if you are more on a limited budget or you are somebody that just wants to be able to pay for your funeral services, you can actually have a final expense policy, and they don't ask as many questions medically. Basically, are you a US citizen, and some basic things like that. And so that way you can keep it affordable. There's something for everyone and any price point.
That's great to know because most people don't know that. And being able to, share this information, and more importantly, for people to get intrigued and to come learn more, especially, going to your amazing Biz in a Box and getting a consultation, getting, so many free resources that you have, just being aware. And especially when we talk about money, right? People are so hesitant to talk about money, maybe the lack of, maybe because they're embarrassed that they squandered it off and they don't have a lot and they should have made better choices. That's okay. And people really have to be able to let that go and plan for the future. So, with that being said, what would you say is the best type of life insurance for people to know?
The best type of insurance to own is really the one you can afford. So if you like the idea of cash accumulation and cash value and infinite banking and laser fund and all those things that sound so sexy, that's great. But if it financially doesn't make sense for you right now, then there's no point in us having that discussion. If it's more on the term side, something that is more budget friendly, then there's no shame in that game. Because term is oftentimes convertible. So you can start with a term that's more in that affordability range, and then you could always upgrade it later and get something that is more permanent. So I say the best life insurance to have is the one that's in force when you need it. So if it's not affordable, then be realistic, right? What is something that you can commit to long term? How much can you work into your monthly budget that no matter what happens, you're going to keep that policy in place? Because if something happens and financially and now you have to look at those bottom line and it's not, it's going to prevent you from keeping food on the table, then it's not something that's going to stay in place long term.
Absolutely, Miss Leah. And when you were sharing that, reminds me of when I was starting my journey as a young adult, and I didn't know any of these terms, no pun intended, but I didn't know what I needed. And I essentially went with what could I afford right now? And I think that's such great advice because starting where you are, where you can afford, and just know that you're going to grow in life. You're going to grow into a different car, grow into a different house, grow into different things. Your life insurance, your benefits, what you are setting up for yourself and other generations can also grow. And so that leads us into, if you can share a little more about what are living benefits.
I love living benefits. So there are many living benefits that are available that you can add as riders into a life insurance policy. But really by far my most favorite are the two that we talk about a lot, which is chronic illness and critical illness. And meaning that if you were to diagnosed, if someone were to be diagnosed with a chronic illness, which is something that is not life-threatening. It could be something that just like a major accident, right? And now you're kind of broken up. You need to have some surgeries maybe and put those bones back together and physical therapy. But that would prevent you from being able to do what we call the activities of daily living. You can't feed yourself, you can't dress yourself, you can't bathe yourself, you can't transfer yourself from the bed to the toilet, things of that nature. Then you can access a portion of the death benefit while you're alive. I've had many clients who've used that. And then there's also the critical illness, which is a big one. The cancer, the heart attack, stroke, kidney failure, Lou Gehrig, paralysis, transplant, right? Any of those things, you can access a portion of the death benefit again while you're alive. And by the way, that cash that you access is generally, in most cases, tax-free. So you can use that money for whatever you need. If you need to put food on the table, pay your mortgage, maybe you're a business owner and you need to pay your employees to keep your business going, or maybe you want to look for holistic alternative remedies for that critical illness. In another stage, you could go ahead and potentially save your life. I have a client that actually did that years ago. He was diagnosed with liver failure, and he used the proceeds from his living benefits and went to the Philippines and literally saved his life.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and while we are live, if you guys don't know, in the Hello Plaza, we encourage you guys to come to the leahgarcia.io and come join this amazing conversation, because there might be some questions that you might have, and you can join us in the metaverse and ask those questions. And so, Leah, real quick, people that have joined us, of course, is Miss Lisa has joined us in. Lisa, as always, if you guys don't know Miss Lisa, definitely go check out her menopause and her amazing rooms that she has on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then, of course,
we have Chieta. It's so good to see you. Hello, David and Tara and Miss. Always learning more on building foundations of multi-generational wealth and the legacy we leave behind. So thank you, Chieta, for being here. I love, you guys, that she puts the pronunciation of her name in there, but that is super helpful. So atta girl, thanks for being here.
Yeah. And so, one of the last questions that we want to add is, how do you access the cash value in your life insurance?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's a few different ways to access the cash value. You usually take your money out, your own money that you've invested. So that's one way. I call that really not the smartest way to do it, though. There's also another strategy you could use. If your policy has alternate loans, you can borrow from the death benefit, and the cash value that you've accumulated stays in the policy working for you. Now, it would be considered a loan, and there is an interest that would be paid towards that. So it doesn't always make sense, but that's another option. The other thing is that I don't hear talk about too much is that when you get to retire, that policy is fully vested, and now you're ready to enjoy your retirement. So you could use the lump sum option where you can access the cash value of income. Value can pay, like a private pension, can pay you an income for the rest of your life.
I love it. I love it. Those are all great, feedback and answers that most people don't know of. And that's why booking a strategy call with you, booking a coffee chat with you, going to all your amazing resources will work out for people so well, for them to understand, how they can get this information and learn this information just by asking these questions. And Tara hit it on the head. You know, when growing up, you know, we didn't know, you know, these terms and these conditions and these different things. I'll speak for myself. I was just looking at the price tag and being like, no, I don't want to spend all that money right now and it not go towards nothing. But as you get older, you're like, oh, maybe I should. And especially having a family, right? Having kids and understanding how important this is. This is definitely more important than, you know, maybe your weekend of golf. Maybe, you know, you're going here, going there, because a lot of the times I'm pretty sure, Miss Leah, you hear, oh, I don't have enough money. Money's not the issue. It's the mind shift. It's the mindset of understanding where this money is going. And we all have that money. We just have to sacrifice and get rid of some of the things that we really, truly don't need at the end of the day.
Well, and I love that you're really highlighting that, but I like to find the money. I believe that that's one of the things that I really am really good at, and what's a little bit differently. So I look at ways that we can eke out some money. Maybe they're overspending with their insurance premiums. Maybe they're overspending on subscriptions. Maybe they're overspending on their taxes and they're not realizing it. You know, I don't like to ever talk about budgets. I just personally think that word should be banished from the English language. Budgets make us feel punitive. They make us feel like we're a punishment. So I always look at a client's finances as a spending plan. And so there's usually a way that I can help and then kind of reposition those that last love letter that they really want.
Yeah, that's, you know, I love that David brought up that fact that most people are like, I don't want to spend that money, or I don't have that money. And then I love the fact that you go deeper to share with people. That's one aspect, but let's go find the money. And I think that's really what people need assistance with, is to really dive in and have somebody who is getting in the quote unquote trenches, my little air quotes up, because at that point, you know, we will, you know, understand that getting into the trenches and having someone in the trenches right next to us, we then understand, hey, it is easy for them. You're on the same side of the table. Now we can get some work going. Now we can get some production going. And so, you know, I really greatly appreciate that. Before we move on to the next question, though, we want to take a little moment here and play your Wall of Wealth video so that we can share more with the audience about what your Wall of Wealth is. Your Wall of Wealth, by the way, for anybody that does watch this video and wants to get it, is in the leahgarcia.io. So if you go out to her amazing Business in a Box Smart Link, the Wall of Wealth is on there. So that is a free interactive component and resource that she has there that you can get that. But we're going to play this video right here quickly, and that way we can share more with everybody.
Are you ready to take control of your financial future? Introducing Leah Garcia's Wall of Wealth, the ultimate one-page financial plan to protect, distribute, and transfer your wealth with confidence. Whether you're a business owner or just starting your financial journey, this step-by-step guide gives you the tools to create a solid foundation for long-term success. Don't wait to transform your money mind shift. Download your free copy today at leahgarcia.io and start building your Wall of Wealth now.
Beautiful. So there you guys are again. If you would like to also, you know, not only see that video again or go get the resource associated with it, you can go out to Leah Garcia, and that's LeahGarcia.io. And that will take you into her amazing Business in a Box Smart Link to where you can get all sort of resources, as well as book that little coffee chat with her so you can find out from Miss Leah ask more pointed questions that are, you know, geared towards you and not just, you know, more generalization. So Miss Leah, we're going to go ahead and jump back into the questions here. One of them we have here is, I see life insurance is only mentioned one time in the wall of wealth. Is that the only place where you can utilize life insurance and be able to help your clients with that, or is there a different strategy? Share that with us.
Yeah, I love that question, Ms. Tara. So life insurance may only be mentioned one time in the very first layer, which we talk about. That's like the foundation, right? We talk about your health insurance, your life insurance, and disability plan. However, life insurance can be used for many different things. It can be used as a disability plan, like we talked about, right? Having those living benefits. Many of my entrepreneurs, they love the term with living benefits because most of them don't have any type of a disability plan. It also can be used as an opportunity account. It can be used as like an emergency fund. A lot of people talk about having an emergency fund. So you can use cash value permanent life insurance as an emergency fund. It can also be used in lieu of a retirement account, right? So a lot of people who are self-employed, maybe they have an IRA, maybe they have a self-directed IRA. You could also use life insurance as a supplemental life insurance policy. We call it a life insurance retirement plan. And then also it can be used for a college plan. It can be used, we talked about this earlier, as a pension. You can use life insurance to create your own personal private pension. It is tax-free, and that's one of the few things that people even have anything in their portfolio that's tax-free. Most people have, most of their retirement funds are in tax-deferred strategies like the equity in their home, the equity in their real estate, their 401ks, 403bs, 457, all of those government-sponsored plans are typically tax-deferred. And then here's a blind spot. It's a long-term care. And a lot of people think that long-term care and long-term care insurance is only about being in a nursing home when I'm like old and gray, and they don't even think of having the conversation. But the best way that I believe that I talk to my clients about having long-term care options as life.
She's talking.
Absolutely. Well, that is an absolutely beautiful point, Miss, Leah, about, the way that you can utilize those insurance policies. That's something that we have a blind spot as a general population to understand that, there are multiple, not only multiple types, multiple different, costs. And then there's multiple different ways that we can utilize it. And that's the biggest thing that I would share that, I've learned by just listening to you and over time, is just understanding that there's really something for everybody. And it's just having conversations and getting authentic about where you want to be, where you want to grow, and where you're at now and how to get there. And you shared an amazing story about someone who is on the path and how excited this person is to be able to have a clear vision. And that's really what you do, is you bring in clear vision for others to be able to see how you can, they can take their financial strategies into their hands and say, I can do this. Because a lot of times we don't have that confidence of that we can do this because of the lack of knowledge. So, great share.
Yeah. So, the next question we got for you is, why do some well-known financial gurus not like cash value life insurance?
Excellent point, Miss Leah. We don't know those things. Not being able to have this insider knowledge does not allow us to be able to garner an understanding of how to best strategize. And so next, if someone wanted to use the Wall of Wealth, how do they use it for their own financial plan?
So, Miss Leo, I don't know if we can. We're not being able to hear you. So, if you could share with us again what you just shared, because we didn't hear you on our side. Can you hear us?
Absolutely. Well, Miss Leah, I'm going to ask you our last question we have here, which is, how do you know that the Wall of Wealth concept really works? Thank you so very much. At the end of the day, Miss Leah, that is very valuable and empowering information. This information will allow other people to be able to not only jump in here, garner some more knowledge, but really be able to connect with you. So again, we want to encourage everybody to go out to leahgarcia.io to be able to connect with her, book that coffee chat, that, to be able to ask those questions and really dive in and understand how Miss Leah can show up and help you. If you would love that resource for the Wall of Wealth, again, leahgarcia.io, and she's got a laundry little toolbox out there, guys, that has a multitude of resources that you can dive into that are complimentary, free of charge, getting in there to be able to, take action. So with that said, We greatly appreciate you and everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Miss Leah Garcia, for being here on this Financial Freedom Friday, to where we're sharing knowledge and wealth of information with others so they can garner generational wealth, which is really what we all want in multiple aspects. And so thank you so much for your time today. And thank you for everybody who jumped in and shared with us. And with that, we will send you off with this amazing note.
Hey there, I'm Leah Garcia. Have you ever wanted a career where you truly make a difference in people's lives? I'm building a team of driven financial and insurance professionals, people who want to help families and businesses protect, distribute, and transfer their wealth with confidence. If you're passionate about guiding others to achieve financial security, then you're exactly who I'm looking for. Join my supportive, growth-oriented environment and unlock your full potential. Ready to take the next step? Visit leahgarcia.io and let's start building your future together.